Yeah, what's good? It's Liam. Resta.
And Thomas made a call and said, I want to do this, let's do this. Following that and sticking to that, committing to that, great season.
Resource management playing out the rest of the game before it even happened. But that little thing that I saw again there, you saw Thomas, he was ending out the floor. So that way the tarps above them actually would fall, right? They would break away. So that way Baca had nothing to kind of land on that was actually inside of the zone. Took away every single advantage possible from the competitors. Those little things, right? Those little nuanced decision makings. So incredible. We saw that in the first place. Trulix and Chicho in first place by a massive margin there. And to think in this, they picked up 8 eliminations, right? So remember, we don't always need a victory royale. That helps. But if we're placing top 3 with 8 elims, y'all better look out. Listen, me and Levin, we were sitting down in the practice area yesterday. Shout out to Reed. Was having a little bit of a conversation. And he was like, Trulix and Chicho, they're just so annoying. They just build random stuff. All of the storm surge in the world is just so random. And to see them make it into the end game is really no surprise when you kind of take that sort of strategy into account.
I think the surprise here for anyone that's familiar with Trulix and Chicho is they're not the type of team you want to see or expect to see.
Thank you, Mod.
Eliminations. There's a low elimination players, they play out their match really well.
They play out their med kits like we saw them do there, right? Tag the free med
Thank
kits.
you, Mod.
Once they run out of the mats in the end game, you play your med kits, touch up some extra placement points. But if they're going to be able to do that, Zeke, popping off and getting high elimination games, we could see them repeat the success they had last year at the Global Championships.
That is so crazy. And a final thing here to call out Peterbot once again in a situation he's left as a solo. This game, though, was a little bit different from them. They were kind of in shambles there, which is a little bit uncharacteristic.
Yeah, I think still kind of finding the necessary amount of surge, I think, towards the later part of the game. Right? I know we tuned in with them towards the earlier zones, like 3rd and 4th, and their score 13 very, very fun. But as you can see right there, a little bit of struggles led to some material deficiency right there, and just a fight going for that. Pollo goes down, and yeah, again, Peterbot kind of left as a solo, but we've kind of seen those performances throughout the year with Peterbot, and these are the type of games that Peterbot pulls out the enough points to kind of hang on for the duo. Exactly.
The worst it gets.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Let's see it. Guys, we want to talk more, but we're getting right back into the action. There's more Battle Bus action to go, so this is game number 3. Casters, up to you.
Thank you guys so much. And yeah, MDF, we are approaching the halfway point here in day 1. But what's even crazier to consider still, sure, it's match 3, but tomorrow, 6 more games to work with and a 1.5 times point multiplier.
Yeah, that's right, and that's where teams start to hit the drawing board. I mean, Vito has expressed this before to us in his interviews. Day 2 is always the hardest, especially for players like him that focus so heavily into that day 1 prep. So this foundation that has to get built here and now is extremely important. Let's jump on the Battle Bus one more time.
And just like that, match number 3 is upon us. The Battle Bus is departing one more time here today. And I think also, one thing we're really going to get a chance to see is how the micro adjustments continue to unfold. Because at this stage, you really want to make sure you're setting yourself up for the best recipe for success heading into day 2. But this halfway mark could really be a tongue tale.
Yeah, and we're kind of jumping back to match 1 starting here. Cal Gamer, Hamad versus CCB Nation. They won the first fight, kind of fizzled out the second. This one now is all up to Cal right here. Cal finds the first tag and no duo in sight yet. Kind of runs off to a safe spot. Very smart position to put him in. Meanwhile, Nathan has more time to go ahead and start healing up, but no material. We all know Fortnite's a game of build and attrition, and if you have the maps, you usually have the fight in the bag. Cal Gamer comes on top for the Middle East.
That is a big clutch opportunity here for Cal Gamer because him and Amon definitely need to start rebuilding a little bit more in terms of that leaderboard, but again, they're not the only ones with that vision in mind. Verstash, Malibuca, Restore Real one more time. Oshi, Worthy, and Alex. I want to see them lurk in the horizon, but the way that they've chosen to split that POI is pretty interesting.
I want to see more worthy perspective than Alex there, but we have to see what's happening here between Oshi and Middle East here. This is a really big fight for FKS and Adapter, whom are winning at the moment. Tinka goes down, Daneth is down as well, and FKS and Adapter collapse from both angles so perfectly. Look at it from Adapter's perspective, just catches him in the nest there, in the danger web, and it is over before they can even put down a build.
Have to love that supportive fire coming in as well. Perfect timing. Phaser and King, though, slight world of hurt here. Phaser trying to do what he can, but at the same time, we'll have to just check back in with him, see how he manages as a solo for the time being, because we got action heating up here at Restore Real. So many medkits getting tossed out, but Mustache and Malabuka manage to take this one over yet again. 2 eliminations in the bag, plenty of kills to work with as well, so they'll be able to recuperate nicely.
Take a look from Mustach's perspective there. He lands a great time on the work so fast. And Malabuka finishes off Alex, who's a little weak and almost finishes Malabuka even with the HP disadvantage, proving that he definitely had the better shot, but just going to come up short there. Meanwhile, Threats and Trashy have gone up against Peterbot and Boy. You can see the results of that. Not very good for Trashy at the moment, but Man City Threats, it's one thing that we know is that he's a veteran of North America. He's going to stick around and try to put down some numbers here.
Know a lot of players, definitely big fans of that thermal scope as well, but it's going to take more than 1 or 2 nice shots for Threats to work his way out of this position. Keep in mind, he's still possibly going to get sandwiched here if he's not careful. Think about Pollo, still close enough that they could continue to play spoiler there for Threats. The Yapko and Swizzy also on the wraparound here. They're going to choose to just try and work their way through Garon's Crossing. Not really interested in sticking around.
Garrison Shari, center zone right now, chasing down Phaser. Phaser gets inside the tunnel. We've seen some very fun plays go down here, but this dynamic not too exciting. And I mean, it's just simple math, right? There's only so many places you can be. Kiros takes down Shari. They already took down King, and it's going to be quick wraps for that duo. Meanwhile, on the other side, Queasy and Thomas HD right now, very much situated, coming off of the victory royale. No one in sight either, right? Very, very comfortable as far as the spacing is concerned right now.
Hey, we already heard what the comms sounded like for Queasy and Thomas and what their intention is as far as the matches here today. Just get height and don't get eliminated. It's as simple as that, or at least it sounds like it on paper, but taking height in the first place is the real challenge.
It's so easy, right? Just do it, basically, is what Queasy's trying to say here. Keep the mentality locked in, and they do just that. And honestly, I think the more important insight, how much he depends and relies on Thomas HD. Knowing that, hey, Surge, we got it covered. I have one of the best duelists, right? Like, in the game right here, in the world. Thomas HD, no stranger to hitting those shots when they matter. Meanwhile, Clix and Vico, they have to make up for that shortcoming in game number 2, falling in the mid game.
Yeah, and it's all going to pop off here yet again by the Forecast Tower. One that's situated in between Hercules Railway and Mount Olympus. And realistically, Bryce Bolts, you have to keep in mind, it's in the backyard, and that's exactly what they're after. They find Job and Michael trying to just sneak around the low ground, but it's not going to work this time. As Bolts and Bryce find their first elimination, that's a nice amount of surge damage as well, so they can afford now to stay engaged in this fight for the Forecast Tower in comparison to maybe Vico Blixie, depending on what their search tags might look like.
Yeah, and Job and Michael had that strategy. They were to come in with this surprise contest, and it just seems like things are a little difficult for them. But Swizzy and Jocko, right, talking about coming over insurmountable difficulties just to make it this far. Swizzy finding his footing here. He's going to tip down Ping and Walks. Just one of the 2 for now, but still, eliminations starting to fall their way. These are critical points now for the tournament standings. On the other side, Clix and Vino make it out of the drop. And now they're on their way to the north side of the zone here. Still cold. So dangerous on the outskirts here.
cold, making sure to just use the natural terrain, keep himself as concealed as possible. But again, Clix and Meta are more than aware of just how much attention the forecast tower is bound to draw towards them and their initial rotates. But it seems as if now Clix are a little bit more fixated on trying to deal with Shari, Kiras, but now having to look back because of the tags that came into play from Cold and Acorn and Cherry, probably a little bit happy about having some of that pressure alleviated to her.
Saying, wait, is that a solo rotating back here? So he's a little bit more keen now to rotate towards that duo. Nice find on the Cactus here. This map awareness from Clix and Vino, given that this is their natural terrain, is flexing right now. But Gearus and Shari, they let up the pedal a little bit. All of a sudden now, they're perched up above them. Clix and Vino here do not want to give this one up here, though. They have chased Michael into the storm. Michael just wants to save his teammate job, but no, he's pushed the wrong way. First through Bryson Bolts, now through Vico and Flixian. Just like that, it's over.
One of the beauties of LAN, I wish you guys could have witnessed it. Vico's mom getting a chance to see him in action, just shouting the moment they find those eliminations. Love to see that kind of cheer forward. As Reed and Ritual, they're going to depend on each other here, trying to power through the likes of Toyota and Mifoli, but Ritual, he's lost his shield entirely, has more than enough to recover though, but what he needs is for Reed to continue to buy him time. So much pressure. Both Mifoli and Toyota choosing to take the same angle, at least for right now, but that could provide the wiggle room opportunity here for Reed and Ritual to get a wraparound effect.
We get to lock in right now. Asia has had quite the appearance so far. I'm looking at the standings on the side, but things are starting to get updated here. I'm seeing teams fall, players and teams get eliminated as things continue to develop here. And talk about Asian teams in the distance. You have Zaku up close, you have Bobby getting closer and closer. So it's almost like Rhea and Ritual are just getting surrounded by this entire region here.
And it's not just Asia either. If I'm not mistaken, it looked like Ruga and Aviv were also kind of moseying their way over towards this action taking place by the weapon bunker, but Reed shredding through the Foley shield. Not enough to crack him just yet, but still forcing him back. It's clear that Reed and Ritual just want box control, take over the space overlying that bunker so they can make sure that they defend it with their own builds.
Okay, Oda and Mapoli trying to situate themselves with the first stab at the bunker. Bobby and Larpex trying to do the same there as they lurk nearby. On the other side, though, high ground here for Center Zone, looking for any teams off in the distance. Chicho and Trulix. The surprise pop-up in that endgame last round really showing up for themselves there. Team Falcon and Valley.
If he hits
proud of that one.
If he hits someone from right there, man.
Ooh.
Okay, Chicho, we understand. The Monarch Pistol, clearly one of your preferences for a reason, but still, I don't expect Chicho and Trulix to leave this position anytime soon. This is their bread and butter. Surge base up, take control of teams that are going to be forcibly rotating from those outskirt positions on their drops, and just funnel, control the way that they're actually moving on the map.
Oh, look at this. Unfortunately, second place Rise and Human Out. Down and out. Once again, opening things up for a second there, but so far, that Asian team has put up quite the performance, right? Representing for their region. That's really the best part about this. We play all year to get the best players from every region globally together in one space to compete against each other. What a flagship event here, but on the other side, Vico and Flixie continuing the story here. They have the bunker now.
Probably rather content as well, knowing that they can take their time, but there is another team starting to approach their position, but it might just be a duo that's gliding overhead. Doesn't seem like they're gonna bother stopping or recognizing the fact even that there's a duo still lingering inside of this weapons bunker. Chaptantini, on the other hand, dealing with the likes of Baka and Pars, outskirts of Restored, Reels, and This could be a rather dangerous position because keep in mind, Trulex, Chicho, they've got a surge base nearby as well. They could look for prime third-party opportunities, get some good tags in here.
Teaming now on the run here from Bach and Pars. Smart disengage, given that low ground terrain is going to be a lot more difficult to play from. Bach and Pars, honestly, not in such a strong position themselves. 28 builds is nothing for a player like Bach, especially in this type of lobby. He really has to start to, piecemeal something together, or their end game is it's going to crumble. It's going to crumble.
Part of the problem for Baca and Pars, though, is that landing by the shipment station, their intent is to try and make a play for one of the forecast towers. We've seen them throughout the majors in the regular seasons, right? And they've tried to consistently make plays for forecast, but they've got to deal with the likes of Peterbot, Hoya, who are also making rotates, and it can be difficult for Baca and Pars as well to just maintain their map position because they have so many teams kind of surrounding them, looking to cut them off at every position.
Though it's only game 3, I do want to hit the VODs and see what's going on with Batman, Boogie, and Rapid there. They haven't quite really popped off up to the expectations, but hold up, Rift Island now officially secured by Bach and Pars. This is honestly a very, very good pickup here if they, of course, can get the loot, but elimination will be even better. Teaming gets hurt in the process here. Chat secures the high position here in defense for his teammate. Singles out Baca. Baca down to just wood builds. They need to get some of the outskirts here. And already Chapin team to secure the center of course, what will be the cache, right? All the loot that's going to go ahead and spawn out of that.
The capture point could be a really big advantage here for Chapin team as well. Baca Pars recognize more than anything else, they need to try and rebuild their material count. Granted, Rift Island can definitely provide, at the very least, ample amounts of bricks, but that's only if they're not disturbed in the process. And it seems as if there are a couple more duos trying to make their way to the top of Rift Island. Clix also still hanging out inside the storm. Comes as no surprise, though, really, when you consider the fact they like to stick in the storm a little bit longer than some of these other teams. They're usually pretty consistent about getting those surge type damages, but they can also be very dependent on the vending machine to accrue the heals to make sure that they can afford this time inside Storm.
Vending machine makes a massive difference. Bunkers make a massive difference as well as far as having heals. To string together a strategy like this, Cammy and Seti clearly have a stronghold on their area. They're playing deep into the storm, and this is, again, a team that is no stranger to staying in the storm on these invitationals, on these LAN events, right? Like, we've seen it happen every single time. They almost welcome the storm, right, to stay away from the other opponents there.
Jamie and Seti, they were probably cheesing the moment that they found out the hover jets wouldn't be an option for players, because everyone knows, historically speaking, they've performed incredibly well, if not possibly the best, during these no mobility or low mobility metas. So, it comes as no surprise, really, they were able to find their surge damage. A little bit to work with at least inside rotations, but Albuca for stash. Jam-packed action, potentially here at Restore Reels. Find some decent shots, but more important aspect still is that Casper and Prism are under some heavy pressure. Those Storm Surge tags trickling in now might cost them all their splashes.
82 below. Pressure starting to rise here. Giannis gets pushed in, drops down to low ground. Just letting the Storm Surge kind of do its thing here for now. But Casper doesn't stop. He eggs on solo here into the wall of Pixie and Giannis. We've seen what happened to duos before. Normally doesn't end well. Malibu and Mustache also lurking nearby, hearing what's happening here.
And again, you can technically out-sustain the damage that's dealt, but 25 a tick, not to mention the other teams taking notes, shooting at you as well. Shield crack has gone out. That might be the go sign here for Giannis and Pixie. They recognize the fact, though, this duo looking a little bit too desperate for him. Mustache by the Lupa, instead gonna strike from behind. Casper, Prism, they were so fixated on Giannis and Pixie, they had no idea of a real threat that waited directly behind them.
Yeah, now Mustache and Malibu have nothing to worry about. They have so much damage. The refresh is there. They're going to be fully focused in on likely getting to the new line of the storm here shortly. And they saw, like, this team was fighting another team, so clearly they're very much aware. But wait a second, Pixie knocks on the wrong door. This is a full duo. Little did he know, he was likely thinking this is what was left of the other team that was just there. And Johannes falls for being out of position now. Merstash and Malabuka really racking up the eliminations this game.
Tedious work there by Merstash and Malabuka, though, the way that they were able to separate Janice and Pixie in that moment. Keep in mind, Pixie definitely still trying to do what he can, but yeah, that is just some very tactical play coming out of Malabuka and Merstash. Their chemistry definitely aligned. Pixie still trying to do what he can, but Malabuka and Merstash, they know it's a solo hidden somewhere amongst the rubble of these pre-existing builds. Pixie trying to hope that he can maintain a little bit better position, but he's just getting shredded. The builds are not going to withstand all the shots coming in. Malabuka and Merstash with yet another elimination. 807 damage above as well. They can take their sweet time now on the rotates.
And you see it from Merstash's perspective onto Casper. See, huge shot there in the replay. Very, very well executed. Well, that's going to set themselves up for success. They have nothing to worry about other than get to Storm now. For Vino and Clix, a little bit of a different story here. Still a successful game nonetheless. 2 elims, plenty of material to work with, especially in Clix's reservoir here. However, the damage will start to become a problem soon. But talk about problems here. Kanata's got a big one. He's got XN Strashy on the other side of the wall. A no teammate, Cooper, who is the returning champion from last year, paired up with Kanata right now, is now found himself watching Kanata having to root from the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, the shipment station has just been fully skeletonized at this point. All the walls practically torn down. Other player builds replacing them, but Kanata has done a decent job, at least, at forcing Trashy back. And in fact, Trashy so low, Kanata not going to be able to get the outright elimination just yet, but he's hunting it down. Trashy just hoping that he can buy himself a little bit more time, and Kanata's got to be careful, because Queasy and Thomas, they're also nearby.
We already know Queasy and Thomas had the confidence coming off that last game. Big rotate coming out on the other side, though. It's Aders and Rise who are on the move right now. Rise going to be the first to fall in this exchange here to the hands of Bolts. It seems Bolts and Bryce to get the elimination credit here. And Bolts and Bryce are holding on just barely. And Bryce willing to stay in the storm. He needs these materials, trying to pick up what he can here to go in and get himself a foundation to work with. And this is a congested side of the storm. Look at how many teams, how many players are sitting around this general area.
This is a lot of our northeast-based teams as well. And Bryce, at least with that refresh on material count, he's going to be able to at least